Unmute everyone. All right, guys, welcome to Wife Life. I'm so happy to be on with all of you lovely ladies tonight. If you are coming into the chat, welcome. Thank you for being here on this Thursday. I am going to we're going to read the chats. Obviously, if you have super chats, I'm going to prioritize those first. That's just how we do it here. And if you guys have any questions, I'm going to open up the stream at the end of our little conversation here. And then y'all can ask your questions and also call in if you want to. And I'm talking to the ladies out here. Sorry, guys. We are talking to the wives, the potential wives, the soon to be wives. And yeah, I'm super excited that everyone is here. Ladies, this is one of my this is one of the topics that I'm just really excited to talk about. Charde shared some knowledge bombs in the group chat earlier, and oh no, what happened to her? We're gonna bring her back. But first of all, I want each of you to introduce yourselves and tell us how many years you've been married. If you have kids, how many? And let's jump in with Carla, our veteran.
That just means I'm old.
Oh.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carla. I've been married to my husband, Paul, for 33 wonderful years. And we have 11 children together. I just became a grandmother for the first time 3 weeks ago. My husband went down last weekend. They live in another state. So he went down, was doing some things closer to them. He went and met our new granddaughter, and I get to go this weekend, and it's her baptism. And my 17-year-old is going to be the godmother.
Oh my gosh.
This is her second time being a godmother this year, so she's a godmother to our youngest daughter, who's 2, and this is what happens when you have a big family, like, everybody gets all in on their siblings as well as the parents, and, we're just so blessed. We have an awesome time together. Again, my oldest son, who just turned 30, he's married and just had their first baby, and then the rest are floating around. I only have 6 children at home right now under the age of 18.
Only.
I don't know.
Only.
I sit around drinking all day, apparently. I have nothing to do. But I'm so happy to be with you gals here today, and I'm just so happy to talk again about a subject I think is passionately. I think all of us are here because we care very much about this topic and bringing the importance of it to young ladies, longtime married ladies. Like, this is a key. This is a key to femininity and just general life happiness as a woman. I think it's something we need to talk about.
Absolutely, Carla. I love you, Carla. Let's start off with a super chat to get this party started. Thank you so much, MGTOW Biologic, with the 199 super chat. The tip jar has been started. Y'all know what that means. It's time to go. Now let's Jazmine, you go next.
Hello, my name is Jazmine. Everyone in the YouTube streets know me as Family Values. Meet me over at my channel, Family Values, and we discuss all things marriage and family. But I've been married for 6 years, going on 7. We have 7 children and 1 on the way. And
catching up, girl, catching up.
Yeah, right. No, I don't want to catch up.
I'm done after this.
I think we're at a good number now, but yeah, I'm excited about the conversation. I'm excited to bounce ideas with you ladies and talk about, the ups and downs of marriage and how important gratitude is. So yeah, let's get this show on the road.
Absolutely. Charde? Oh, and I think you dropped out of the chat. So we're introducing ourselves, how long you've been married, how long you've been together, and if you have babies, how many, or how many would you like?
Oh
Would you
man, we're
like?
getting real personal today.
I know. And where people can find you.
Okay, well, Charde Chardé here. Thanks for having me. I've been married a little over a year, so still kind of new at this thing. No kids yet. As far as how many kids, I always vacillate and go back and forth, but I figured let me have the first one, then I'll decide if, if we want more or not. um, and you can find me on YouTube. I have live discussions there, different conversations. Also on TikTok. I started there recently. And I like to hang out on Instagram every so often. And yeah, just grateful to be here. Grateful to have this conversation. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Martine?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Martine, and I'm at Femininity and Freedom, mostly on Instagram. So I'm not on YouTube. I'm very new here, but I'm just so excited to be around like women who are passionate about the same things, um, femininity, family, and faith. So I'm so excited to be here on this panel, talking about one of the things that are really foundational to every family. Actually, gratitude is it's a family value. It's a family foundation, and once we learn that as mother, father, and children, it can really change like the way we see life. So I'm really excited.
I'm so excited because this is one of the topics that I've wanted to talk about for a while. And honestly, we have such a good group of women here to talk about this. I was like, I have a couple questions, but I feel like we're gonna get stuck on one and then just like go off. And I'm excited about that. So to jump in, I wanted to talk about how gratitude has impacted your marriage, because I know when we brought up this topic, Carla was like, "Oh, I'm in, let's go, I'm here for it, let's have this conversation." So, how has gratitude impacted your marriage? And we'll start with Carla just because I know she's going to come off straight out the gate with a banger.
Yeah. This is just huge for me because my mom, I'm the oldest of 8 children in my family. And according to my
Wow.
mom, I came out, with a smile and an optimistic attitude about life, from day one, except in my marriage. Okay. Um, it may be I got married to my dear husband who we met in college, and then we went to law school together. We both were in the same class, going to same classes every day in law school, scraping together with little part-time jobs and a little part-time apartment. And it was very easy to focus on the negative because for 2 reasons. Number one, I think it's very hard for younger people Rebecca and I were talking before the stream about people in their 20s and the challenges they go through. The last 2 or 3 generations, the people in their 20s have been living with their parents who are living a lifestyle that is impossible to replicate in your 20s unless you are literally in the top 1% of all earners so you are growing up in this, it's not a fairyland, but like you think this is how everyone lives, but this is how you're living because your parents are in their 50s and have been working like crazy. So in the 80s, we were in the forefront of this happening. It had happened to the baby boomers to some extent, and then it happened to us, that everyone was living this life, which was not a reality for most of human history. People, when they started out getting together with people and getting married, started out poor, started out really having to work like crazy. But now all of a sudden their parents' basement is nicer than any apartment we ever lived in. And it skews your sense of what you have and what's important and what you need to be grateful for. So that started out, we went to school with some very rich people whose parents set them up in apartments in Chicago, downtown. And you see that we laugh about it that our children with, we have 6 children under the age of 18 at home, and they still live a better lifestyle than, so many more people do, but they don't live as well as their friends who have only 2.2 children, right? Like it's not possible. So we have to really think about what we're comparing things to, because comparison is the thief of joy. So here we are in our 20s, head over heels in love. I'm a super optimistic person. And between the lifestyle that it didn't seem something was wrong. We didn't have what I grew up in. My husband did not grow up like that, or what we saw our friends having. And then we had children right away. Well, now we're really not living the lifestyle. We're not going on vacations. We're not doing this. It's very easy to get caught in that. The number two factor is that modern day education, again, Rebecca and I were talking about this, beats the joy and hope out of you. A lot of universities, that is their thing. It's almost a badge of honor that how depressed and how sad you are shows how intelligent and how much you really care and understand about the world. So I really feel like young people are just so vulnerable to this lack of joy, especially once they get in marriage. Because once you're in marriage, you now are subject to another person's moods and another person's preferences. And a lot of people, if they're doing that after only taking care of those, it's hard for them to deal with someone else in that matter. So, that's the setup for why my late 20s and definitely in the 30s was very challenging to deal with marriage. If something was wrong, it was his fault, because it couldn't be my fault. I was the oldest of 8 kids. I knew what to do with kids. He was the youngest of 3. He didn't know what to do with kids. If he knew what to do with kids, he think this would not be, they'd go to bed. It was very easy to focus on, again, it was a little bit of that superior educational training, a little bit of that glass half empty. And that was a real struggle to then deal with in my 30s. And that was why I went on this journey to start figuring out why I have this great guy, I have these beautiful children. Why am I not happy? So that's where we started. And that's kind of how I thought I would open up that conversation, because even though it was in the 80s, it's exactly the same problem that I think is really facing young people today.
Absolutely. You nailed so much in that. We live in this, social media world today. It's not the same way that it was in the 80s, but we live in this, I need gratification right now. And it's that dopamine hits that young people are getting day in and literally in a second. Oh, I didn't get that. That person didn't like it right away. This person didn't swipe right away. I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all need to chill. I'm going to get to you next, Jazmine. I want to shout out, oh my gosh, where am I? Because I want to shout out MGTOW Biologic for the $49.99. Instead of accounting for every transaction is a good, stable, contented, I don't know how to read anymore, relationship even possible without the spirit of giving from both parties. Yeah. You have to give on both sides. You just have to. And if you are not giving, or if you're not receiving, is because you're not giving enough. I'm just saying. I'm going to throw it out there.
I'm also going to throw out briefly that, again, one of my husband's favorite sayings is that I am the emotional barometer for our family.
Mm-hmm.
That when I am happy, the family is happy. When I am giving, the culture in our family is giving. I think while each partner needs to be involved, I am going to say, ladies, I think we have more of the power to create the culture in our home. And once we do, and that is our standard, like so many things in society, our men
Yep.
jump to hit that standard with us. So, so I just want to say in answer to MGTOW's question, I think the woman can start even if the man is not there in the gratitude space. One of the things we had as our boys got older, and they're 28 and 30 now, was that I wanted to say thank you when we pass things at the dinner table, please and thank you. And that wasn't the culture of my husband's family. And he's like, why do we have to do that? That's just, it just seems like extra words. We're at home. We should be able to relax, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, I want to cultivate a culture of politeness and gratitude and being our best selves in our home as opposed to giving the dregs of ourselves to the home and the best to strangers. And he was like, I never thought of it that way. And now that's the standard, like, that's out there and that our children do without anyone saying it anymore. I hear that a lot from the children. So I think we're a little more powerful in that regards, ladies. I think we have a little more power to, if we start with that gratitude, we can inspire that from our men, even if they're too deep in the logic and they're so worried about protecting and providing and thinking the world is a dumpster fire. We can do that for them. And that is our genius. That is our feminine genius. Shout out Martine to
I love
POB.
it.
That's our feminine genius, that we can inspire that in our men. So because he had asked that question, I
I
wanted to
love
bring that
it.
up.
Well, we have Allie in the chat. Thank you so much for the 1999. Great work, ladies. Thank you for being here, Allie. We really appreciate it. We love you. We want you back, girl. So let's who wants to go next? I don't know. Jazmine, do you want to go next? Okay,
I can go next. Yeah.
Jazmine was writing a whole thing down earlier. I'm like, what's she writing down? I need to know.
You can see me writing.
I saw you writing. I was like,
because Carla said some great things that made me think about learning how to live in gratitude. And I think in order to live in gratitude, contentment and gratitude goes hand in hand. You have to be content with your life. And that is where the true gratitude came. That's where my change came, because if you don't have contentment, like Carla said, you're going to be comparing yourself to everyone, every family, every wife, every husband. You're going to just, everything you see, especially social media today, is so influential, especially, as today, because that's everything. No one even really watches cable anymore. It's Instagram, it's YouTube, it's social media. So with that said, due to me comparing myself to everybody, I was unhappy. I was critical. I was unsatisfied. I was mean. And I didn't focus on being grateful for the things that, even the small things or the things that I have or what God has given me. I'm too busy looking at everybody else. And it makes you, just time goes by and then you realize that you've missed out. You haven't been really living in your life right then, because you're thinking ahead. I want this. I'm working towards this. I'm working towards that. And you're not focusing on the now. And it's unfair for your family. So with that said, I ended up doing a Bible study from, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Priscilla Shirer. And it was about contentment, and it was great. Like, it really showed me how ungrateful, how a big of a brat that I was. And that I had so much to be grateful for, and I'm busy looking at everybody else. And it was just like, all right, let's get this under control. And then as soon as I started to work on those things, as soon as I started writing down those lists of all the things God has blessed me with, my mindset started to change, and then my heart started to change, and then it came out of my mouth. So I would start to speak life into my family. I would start to speak life into my husband, into my children. And when you speak life into them, you see a change, like outward change. You see the confidence in them, you see the growth. And it's not just what you see in the home, you see their growth in the things they do outside of the home, with school, with my husband's success. Gratitude can really build a person, can really inspire a man, inspire your children to be great. And I think that is an extremely important aspect to have about yourself as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, because they need that. And we're good at it because it's in us to do it. We're naturally that way. We naturally want to build people and feed them. So when we tap into that, oh man, you see, and it's so, and it feels so good to see that, to see the growth in your family and to see the confidence in them. And it's all starts with yourself being content, learning to be grateful. And then once you do that, you will outwardly express that, and then you will see the fruits of that.
No, absolutely. You nailed that. You nailed that, Jasmine. Let's shout out MGTOW by Logic for the $9.99 super chat. I really appreciate it. Correct, Carla. You can't reap a harvest from a field you never planted. So I agree. You guys are just nailing it. I love this. I love this conversation. Martine, do you want to go next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, so many great stuff has already been said, but like what I wanted to touch on really was how wives really like set the temperature, like for like how the children are going to be content and grateful. And also like especially husbands. So my husband knows this, and he was actually the first one to teach me about this. I'm like, baby, what can I do to support you? You know, I cook, and like I make the home and everything, and all of that is great. But what they really love is appreciation. So appreciation is a tangent of gratitude, right? And it's directed specifically at what we see somebody else being and what they are bringing to the table without ourselves in the equation. It's like pure giving. And so a research was done like in the, I think it was like the University of California at Davis, when they said that they had like couples journal like 5 things they were grateful for that week, and then they had another group like journal what they were hassled by like that week. And those that were able to, and I use this in my coaching practice, like I teach my women to have an appreciation journal for their husband, like they leave it on his like side table at night. The group that consciously appreciated for a straight like 10 days were 25% happier in their marriages than those that were like, you know, I'm just gonna like bring up the stuff at the end of the day when you come home from work, right? So there's science to prove that gratitude and appreciation improves relationships. And they're studying this stuff right now. So it's not just, you know, like virtue, although it is. It's not just, you know, things that are like good Christians, for instance, cultivate, because it is. But it's also backed by like the secular world and science and psychology. And it's so simple, but it's something that we don't really think about unless, like Carla was saying, we're cultivating it. We see that it's a conscious quality and embodiment to have. And, you know, like aside from that research, what I've found like with my clients is that there are less negative thoughts prior to bedtime. So it's good, like before you go to bed, you praise your partner for whatever, like you show appreciation at that moment when you're having pillow talk and you're about to like go to sleep. There's research that shows that that is actually helping to strengthen those neural pathways between the two of you when you're thinking about your marriage. So it just blows my mind that there's actually now, like proof and science to support what God has already mandated marriages to be, like for better or for worse. So it's just so beautiful, and like I'm so happy we're talking about this like finally, because this will save marriage. This will save wives and husband relationships. This will save like the next generation of children who, like we were all talking about earlier, are just a very entitled fast food dopamine hit generation right now. So yeah, this is exciting stuff. This is like mind-blowing stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I actually, Martina, I read that study too. And I found it interesting because in the same study, it says that the couples that were writing in the journals were also communicating face to face, and they're having
Yeah.
deep eye contact with each other. And you could see like the love coming from these people. And it also required some physical touch. Like you wanted to touch your spouse, right? You wanted to, hug them and be around them and embrace them. And, when you're upset or resentful, that's the last thing you want to do. You're repulsed by your spouse. You're repulsed by even like there was this one lady, I think it was a video that I saw a couple weeks ago. She said that the sound of her husband's breathing repulsed her. And I was like, wow, you've gotten to this point in your marriage where you're physically like, because women have higher repulse, I guess, senses than men. Like we feel repulsed more often.
We have actually they have denser nervous systems.
Yes.
So that's why they can appear stoic and like unemotional, but it's actually because we have like, you can think of it as like as like we have a thinner nervous system. So like we feel the emotions more and we take notice more than they do. It takes a little time for them. Yeah.
Of everything. And so the fact that it got to that point, right? That's a marriage that is hard to fix. It's hard to work on when the woman has reached that repulsive like nature attitude about her, because it's hard to come back. And I've seen way too many marriages get to that point where everything about your spouse, it started very little. It started with like the sock on the floor, or, not taking out the trash or whatever. And then it got to a point where it's like the thought of this person being next to me repulses me so much that I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, it's a callousness. It's like a callus that, like it's on like the skin. It just layers and layers on top, but it's not dealt with. It's not talked about. And it's really tragic for some couples to end up that way. But again, if you are actually like embodying this quality of, I set the temperature, I'm the thermostat, I'm the emotional thermostat for my family, then it's actually the woman's gift to be able to tap into it first more. And again, a lot of people will say, well, like he should be like responsible, like he should be doing that. And I'm like, but if you had the realization first, then God actually gave it to you to embody first. So there's also an acknowledgement of how God made our bodies. Like if we feel and sense emotionally first, more than our men do, because again, that quality of them to be stoic and like being able to hold their emotions, it's actually a good thing, because they need that when they go out to work, like when they're out there like protecting and providing. And so like when that sense is given to us, like I actually get to be the one to soften I actually
Mhm.
get to be the one to step into gratitude first. It's my power as a woman. Then it just totally changes the paradigm of, well, he should do this and he's not doing that. And he, like blah, 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 blah. We get to embody that's womanly power. It is to be the first one to be grateful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so true. You nailed it. Charde, what you have to say, girl? I know.
I
Everyone's
don't
been
know how I
talking.
follow up to any of that. I just want to say like Salah. Like, sit on it. That's really how I'm feeling, if I'm being honest. I will attempt to add some value to this well-addressed topic. I would say, at least for me, gratitude has really become about a level of like self-responsibility and self-accountability, if that makes sense. Like, one thing that I kind of like, it just makes me like hinge when I hear it is, women complaining, or when they talk about how like they want a man that makes them happy, or they leave a marriage because they didn't have a man who makes them happy, or the onus that sometimes people put on other people to be their contentment, And so really, one thing that I've learned in my journey, and even learning in my marriage, is that it's not my husband's responsibility to make me happy. It's no one else's responsibility to make me happy. It's me, myself, and God, period. And so I think, as I am learning to be grateful, and learning to count my blessings, and learning to own the times when maybe I have a bad attitude about something, or maybe I have a bad perspective about something, and really focusing on trying to get better, and trying to deal with my own maybe negative perspective, or comparison, or jealousy, or insecurity. And when I'm able to do that and take that stuff before God and address it, um, I'm so much happier as a person. And then I can even love my husband more, if that makes sense. Because, for example, like, one thing that I've heard a lot as the first year of marriage is be like really, really hard. It can be like the hardest. And I think my first year of marriage, I started going to 12 step. I started doing like different, like, kind of self help programs, things that really focused, um, was really about me focusing on myself, and focusing on me getting healthy. And I think that made my first year of marriage so much more enjoyable, because I could truly be grateful for my husband. I could truly be grateful for who he was and who he is today. It wasn't about him having to fit some expectation that I had, or fit some ideal or some mold that I had. It was like I could enjoy who he was because I was owning my own stuff. So when I think of gratitude, I think of self accountability, and I think about really how we have the opportunity every single day to choose to be happy, to choose to be joyful, to choose to have a better disposition. That is a choice that we have that nobody else can take from us. And I think that's the great thing about gratitude. Um, but I think it also, again, it just requires that accountability. And in some ways, I think it can be empowering. It can be empowering to know that, like, hey, there's nothing that nobody else can do today that can make me feel horrible unless I let them. Not even like my husband. Not to say that they, I mean, we do influence each other, but as you guys have mentioned before, like, we kind of have that power as women. So I think that's something that I've learned, or am still learning to a certain extent.
No, I love it. I agree with that. Um, I think a lot of times too, so something that my premarital counselor told us is
Mm-hmm.
don't take any, he called it extracurricular activities in your first year of marriage. Focus on yourself, and focus on yourselves, like growing your relationship in the first year of marriage, because it can be so hard. And a lot of couples don't understand that. They'll go through the honeymoon phase and they think it's going to last forever, and it doesn't. It doesn't last forever. And when life really throws you a hard, like a fastball, it's difficult if you don't have gratitude to lean on, right? If you don't have your spouse to lean on, if you are fighting these battles on your own and just internalizing everything, right? like and my husband's in recovery. He says the biggest enemy is right between my ears, right? And it's no one else. It's what's happening inside of your head, right? And the thoughts that we're saying to ourselves. And that can translate to your spouse, right? And so sometimes I have to catch myself as well. Like, I have to say, like, why why am I why am I thinking these thoughts? Why am I choosing this type of reaction to this, right? And I have to catch myself because I'm like, okay, what is my husband thinking about? Like, how is you have to put yourself in their shoes, right? And that goes with gratitude as well. Because if you have the empathy, if you have the level of empathy to put yourself in their shoes, I'll give you an example. My husband works long hours. Like, he leaves at 8 o'clock and comes home sometimes 8, 9 o'clock. Okay. This man works all day long, right? So it's hard sometimes when I don't see him throughout the week because I put the baby down, the baby doesn't see him, and I can get all up in my head like, oh, my husband works too much and he needs to be home with me, blah, blah, blah. And you can start thinking that way, right? But then you think about it, I have the luxury to live this lifestyle. I have the ability to stay at home and take care of my daughter every single day. And that is my job. That is my job, right? And my husband provides everything we need, the roof over our head, the food in the fridge so I can make him dinners and breakfasts and everything. Like, he provides that, and he makes the sacrifice so that I can live this life. And I make the sacrifices so that he can go to work every day and work these hours that he does work, right? Because if I were to be outside of if I, went to work and we had childcare, you'd have to like work around that as well, right? And so you have to really reframe the way that you think as a woman, because we're speaking to the ladies out here, as a woman, to say, okay, the reason why my husband does that, the reason why my husband sacrifices is so that I can live this lifestyle, so I can do what I do. I am grateful for that. I'm grateful for that ability. And so that's just what I wanted to throw as my 2 cents. I don't know if anyone wants to chime in because I'm going
Yeah,
on a rampage.
I do want to chime in really quick. I was just talking, I think it was yesterday or so. I was just talking to some people about how I just lost my train of thought. Anyways, I
She's
wanted to
pregnant, y'all.
also
It's
think
okay.
I wanted pregnancy brain. But I do remember what one of the things I wanted to bring up is we definitely need to be grateful for all the the provisions and the things that you said, Rebecca. But I also believe, like, even the small things that we would think is small is it may be important, and it builds that confidence as well. Like, for example, when we first moved into our house, my husband went and bought some bolt locks and put it on the doors, and I felt protected. I felt loved. I felt security. And I'm like, man, I love you so much. I'm so grateful that you did that. I feel so much more secure. You're a great protector. And it's just seeing the light in his eyes from just being grateful for even what we would think is small, like reaching to get the light bulbs changed, because I never change the light bulbs. We're just gonna go without until someone comes and change it. And when he does that, I'm like, thank you so much. You have no idea. Like, I've been cooking with one light and I need both the lights. This really helps. Thank you. And you could tell that because I'm appreciating even the small things, it's rare that those things will continue to be an issue. Like, I won't even have to ask you to do it anymore, because he's like, I'm Superman. I'm about to go take care of my family. And I just wanted to throw that in there. Like, even the small things, I think we need to even be silly about it if you got to. Oh my God, you grabbed my shoes for me. You're the best. Thank you so much. I would have been tired, out of breath to go get that. I'm getting big, or something like that. Like,
because
just
starting down at that base level, like you're talking about, Jasmine, being thankful for those little things,
Mhm.
it sets up like a spiration of raising gratitude between the two of you to a different level, because you start down here and then you can just keep taking it up and up and up. Um, my husband used to tell me all the time, my number one goal in life is to see you happy. Well, how can he feel successful at that goal unless I give him the gratitude and the
Mhm.
outright feedback saying, I am happy because of this wonderful thing, which sure, some of them just happened to me, but some of them he has provided for me or provided the opportunity for me to partake of. Frankly, just the fact that he's there, because I wouldn't be the person that I was if I were not married to him. So even if it's my accomplishment or my thing, he has a part of that. In the same way you were talking about, Rebecca, that he can go to work and know you're taking care of stuff at work. My
Mhm.
husband is retiring in December after 33 years in federal law enforcement. And we're having that big thing. And I'm as excited as he is, because his accomplishments there, I rightly feel like they're mine too, because he didn't have to worry when other families were like, oh, I can't stay and do this stakeout because someone's got to pick up the kid at daycare.
Mhm.
He could stay all night. When
Mhm.
9/11 happened, I didn't see him for weeks. He was all over, around, because he could go, because he knew I had that.
Mhm.
So, like, when you have each other's back that way, when each person isn't, I'm looking out for my self-interest and we're looking out for my
Mhm.
self-interest, and yeah, we love each other, and that, like, that doesn't work. You have this interconnectedness, and that you expressing that gratitude and him expressing that gratitude back to you, because again, he starts doing it when you start doing it. It's
Bingo.
so true. And then you guys start trying to outdo each other in gratitude and making each other happy. It becomes this competition that is literally so much fun. Like, we literally still do that now, and it's silly sometimes in ways. But it kind of brings a little bit of that cutesy dating-y energy, youthful energy back too, to each other. He
Carla,
buys,
I'm giddy. I'm
right?
giddy
Giddy.
listening to
I'm
it.
giddy every day. Like, he bought me this dress and I had to go to a doctor appointment with him. He bought me this dress 2 weeks ago for my birthday, and I wore this dress to a doctor's appointment. And like, you wore the dress. I'm like, I love this dress. I'd never picked this dress out for myself in a million years, ever. But he's like, I love that. I think he told me like 5 times in 3 hours that he loved that dress. Like, it was great, and I felt good, and he felt good. I'm like, I love when you buy stuff for me. I love buying stuff for you. La, la, la. Like, it just do it back and forth and back and forth, and then we're happy at the end of the day. We're happy. Like
Guys,
we
don't you want to be happy like
Let's
Carla?
be happy. Like, the world wants us miserable. We don't have to be that way. You start small, start with those little things. He puts that light bulb in there, so he is your hero. And he wouldn't do it if he didn't feel great doing it, right? He feels good because you give it back to him, and then he's going to give it back to you, and you give it back to him. And like, let's lift our interactions with our husband. Doesn't have to be the serious slog through life all the time. Be cute. Be fun.
I love it. Be cute. Guys, ladies, write that down. Be
Cute.
cute.
Be
Okay.
fun. Listen, like, if your husband's as left brain as my husband is, you don't live in a place of fun a lot of time. You live in this very cut and dried. where can they express that cute energy and appreciate that? Again, it's a gift the feminine brings with, pulling them out of this logical morass and getting them to this, like, oh, you're so cute, you're this, you're that. It's children do it, right? Young children do it well, but I think we as wives can do it also. It brings such a good energy. And again, that gratitude is a huge part of it. Appreciation is a huge part of it. I had a challenge over Lent, right? I said 40 days on my Instagram, because that's where you find me most of the time, is go to your husband when he walks in the door, jump up, stop whatever you are doing and jump up and go say hi. Game changer. I've heard from so many women that melted their husbands' hearts and was the first step to them, because you're showing them you're happy they're there and you're grateful that they were gone doing stuff for you and your family. Like, we just kind of, like, it was so many things. It shows respect that you stop what you're doing to interrupt for him. I didn't used to realize how important that is to men. That's hugely important to them.
Carla, I started doing that. I don't know what, like, I think it was a couple streams ago. I think you said that you did that. I'm like, I need to be like Carla. So every so I'd be cooking. My husband comes in. I give him a big hug. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I want to hug you." I was like, "Hug me back. Give me a kiss." He's like, "I'm sweating." I was like, "Babe, be cute."
Don't ruin the moment, babe.
Don't ruin the moment. Come on. No, but now he's gotten used to it. It's funny because he would come to me, but when you make it intentional and you are going to him at the door and taking his shoes and putting it in the court, like I take his shoes and put it in the closet because he just wants to take off his shoes at the door. I'm like, okay, that's your shoe place. I'll just put it in the closet. Don't worry about that. And it just makes it just shows, like, wow, you did all of this hard work. Like, go sit down. Don't worry about anything. Dinner's here. Your muffins are ready. Like, and I love it because when he says, hold on, Carla, I'm just going to mute you really quick. When he says, "Oh my gosh, Rebecca, this food was amazing," I'm like, yes, nailed it. He's like, or he's like,
I love that.
or he's like, can you make this dish again? I really liked it. I was like, okay, like, what else do you want me to do? go, Martina.
It's so true. No. Like what Carla and I were talking about. Like, it starts throughout the day. Like, especially, so my husband, like all our husbands, I guess, they're out of the house the whole day. So that is the very opportunity to start, like, the gratitude circuit, like when he's at work, like, "Hey babe, like, I'm thinking of you and I hope you liked your lunch." I do that because I make him lunch, right? I make him lunch. And it's so, like, it's so beautiful to just appreciate that you get to be cute like that, even if you've been married I've been married for 14 going 15 years, right? That you can still activate that, like, what you were when you were courting, or when you were just, like, freshly, like, dating. You can tap into that anytime, like with just like a text, or like when he's about to come home, and like, I know he's about to come home around like 7, right? So I send a text, "Hey baby, I hope you're driving home safe. I can't wait to see you." It's so innocent and so, like, taken for granted that we can do that. But when you actually ask him, like, so how do you feel like when I send you, like, a text like that? They love it. They absolutely eat it up, but in a good way, because they're like, she's not taking herself so seriously. She's in her playfulness. She's in her, like, either it's cute or it's sexy. So Carla's like the queen of, like, sexy texting when he's on the way home, right? It's good for marriage, I tell you. But like we get to be playful, and I think like gratitude makes us playful because we we get back into like so I was telling a friend yesterday. I was like looking at my daughter, and my daughter had these two new sets of like pajamas. Like they were pink and purple and really cute, and she was like, "Oh, mommy, I'm so happy about my new pajamas." And I was like, you know what? When I'm like that with my husband, he loves it. Like he loves to see, like there's a part of them that loves to see this like age polarity, I call it.
Mhm.
It's like you, and you don't put it on, it just comes naturally to you, developing like that attitude of gratitude. It's like you become little to them, so they think you're cute and lovable and adorable. And it's just so wonderful for like the polarity of the marriage. So we get to practice that. Like I said, like if the woman's the one noticing that, like that's my strength, then we actually get to practice that in little ways, like just a little text when he's on the way home, or when he comes home, like what Carla said, dropping everything and slapping a kiss on him. Like it's so small, but when it's built up over time, it creates that passion and that appreciation for him. That is our gift. That's our unique gift as wives to give to him. So yeah,
I,
so
I
good.
want to.
you
I
guys
want
are
to. Okay, I'm
Go-
kind of like
go,
I
Charde.
kind of. Okay, yeah. So I have like a question since you guys are kind of putting all these gems out here. So I'm, I'm sure, or I'm wondering if you guys have heard of like the idea of like the five different love languages, right? Where it's like
Mhm.
everybody has like
Yeah.
a primary love language. So for example, I would assume everybody on this panel, like their husband probably has like a different or unique love language. So I know one of you guys mentioned like the text, one of you guys mentioned like the notes. Like, what if your husband maybe like words of affirmation isn't it, but it's maybe like I don't know, like affection, or I guess I'm saying like how would you say that you learn to practice gratitude in a way that is connected to your husband's love language? Because I think if you're trying to show it in a way that doesn't necessarily speak to him or he doesn't get, I would think that there could be a disconnect, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't
That
know,
is true.
No,
but that's
it's
just
true.
That's
those
true.
are
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Mine is
think
words of appreciation. I mean, personally. So
Okay.
yeah, my
yeah,
husband's is words of affirmation and physical touch. So I make sure.
they're all physical touch.
I know, I know.
It's like right under there.
It's like if it's not number one, it's number two.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's number one because it's always number two after. Like it's always the physical touch after.
It's like, okay, thanks for the words of affirmation. Can we have
Yeah.
sex now? Like
You got it, girl.
basically. No, but I think too it's important for you to understand um your spouse's, your husband's love language before I mean, it's not even before you start, you know, showing gratitude, but learning what they like, what they want to hear, what they want to have. Because for me, um, when I pack my husband's lunch, he shows up there and he's like, "Look at my lunchbox." He and all his coworkers, they all go out to lunch, and so he's like showing up with his lunchbox. They're like, "You got the Welches again? Like that's awesome! Like, can your wife pack me some?" And so that gives him a sense of like, oh, like look at me, my wife cares about me more than your wives care about you. Yeah, basically, like, and that to him is not even words of affirmation, right? But he gets affirmed by that act. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you got to study what you're saying is study your man,
Yes.
because they're all
Study your
different.
man.
I used to make him lunches and he hated it because he was running around trying to find suspects and chase down sources, and he didn't have a microwave to heat things up.
Right.
And then I'd put things in with a little ice pack and it would get all gross by the time he got to it. He but I was watching the budget and I'm going to do this, honey, and it'll be great for the budget. He felt more respected as a man when I'm like, you do your lunch. What works for you?
Mhm.
He's like, it's just so much easier if I can do. He was sneaking in the leftover lunch he didn't eat the day before because he didn't want me to see it because he felt
Aw.
bad he didn't eat it, but he didn't have a chance. This is so we went the opposite way. He felt like, could you please, can I just get lunch? And I like, again, I was like, but I'm failing as a wife. Like, but I love, he likes taking care of it by himself. And now
Yes.
it's part of what he spends money on because it's just easier for his work. And then he likes to do what he wants to do. And like, it's okay. It's okay.
Mm.
Don't let whoever is the trad wife account of the week or your Pinterest
Boom.
bento box lunch person tell you how to make your husband happy. You watch him
Mhm.
and you ask him. Okay?
Yeah. I
Don't go
love
for
it.
what you
Yes,
think
yes,
he has
yes.
to be. That's not how it works. That's the surefire way to make you exhausted, tired, and feel resentful, and him be
Mhm.
unhappy that
Mhm.
he can't do anything to make you happy. He literally thought, if I show her I didn't eat this, she will be unhappy. So he would sneak it in the back of the
Aw.
fridge and try to take it the next day. That's silliness. Find out what he likes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
Rebecca, mine is words of affirmation, which is the sexy testing.
Yeah.
Sexy testing
Yes, it is.
is words of affirmation. And then it has the bonus of it's going to lead to the physical acts of appreciation.
I call
Like,
it belly button
Mhm.
on belly button time. You gotta
you
get at it.
I
can
love
you
that.
can do you can double team on what their appreciation their
Yeah.
way of doing it is. So
Yeah.
yes, figure out what it is, and sometimes you can experiment a little bit because that's the joy of a long-term marriage where you've built up
Mhm.
so much goodwill and so
Mhm.
much where he knows you try so much that you can try something different. It might fail resoundingly, but you've built up that bank account where he knows you were trying and he feels okay being honest enough going, that doesn't work for me. And then you can go, well, all right, good. I tried it. I'll try something else. And you got 30, 40 years, people, to do this. Don't worry. Not everything's going to be a home run on the first try. It's
Yes.
okay. We again, we feel like every moment needs to be Instagrammable and
Or like
Pinterestable.
Pinterest, right?
Yeah, it's not going to look like that. Some things will not work. Some things will be better than others. Be willing though, because again, that changeability, right? Again, that we have as women, where
Mm.
you can be cutesy one moment and the next moment you're the warrior mom that he knows is taking care of
Mm.
his children and is serious as all get out.
Yep.
That's important. He doesn't want an airhead with him all the time. He wants someone who can be cutesy and fun, but knows is going to bring her intelligence and her courage to
Yes.
bear for the family and the children. And we can embody all of that. We can and we should, because as we grow and progress, that's hopefully what we're going to do.
I
Mhm.
And
this is first of all, this is why I only had a few questions because I knew this was gonna go into like I you should see these. I was like, well, I should just throw these away because y'all just kept Charde asked the question that I was gonna ask. So here we go. You know what? You know what? This is why we've been an hour in and I asked one question. I asked
That's
throw
right. We
one
didn't
more
even
out.
get to the rest of them.
no, we'll not get no
Oh,
because
well,
this we're gonna talk about it in a second. But hold on, before we jump into Jazmine, I want to get these super chats out of the way, and then I have a question from the chat as well. But thank you so much, OCGM, for the $5. All right, take my money. Love the chat and all the ladies. Please do not stop making these videos. Young women are listening. We men want families. we're not going to stop anytime soon, all right? We're never stopping. And then another $5 from OCGM. There's no $25 button, so here's for everybody, every damn body. Take my money, keep the conversation going, and keep talking to the young women. Men want families. And he came through again with $20. Thank you so much. Sorry, here is my missed money. The gym has my brain racked. Take my money. We appreciate it. Jazmine, I know you want to how do I get the super chat off of the screen? I know you want to elaborate on something. And then after that, I have a question from the chat that I think is very important. And I really want to talk about it. So go ahead, Jazmine. I know you have pregnancy brain, so I'm sorry.
Well, no. I didn't really want to elaborate on something, but there is one thing I wanted to say though.
Okay.
Our men, most men have egos. They have egos and they love for it to get stroked. I just wanted to throw that out there because a lot of women feel like, no, maybe I shouldn't blow his head up. I don't want him to be overly confident or conceited or something. I'm like, no. You give it all. You give it all because someone else will. So go ahead and stroke that ego and let him feel like the best man alive in his home. Because when you do that, when he steps out into the world, one, temptation, two,
right.
On top of that, it brings out a confidence. So when the world is against him, he's like, well, my family knows who I am. My family sees me as Superman. So I don't care what the world has to say about me, and vice versa. When I know that my husband, loves me and is grateful for me, when I hear negative things or people from the past bringing up my past or whatever it may be, it does not affect you because you know that your spouse looks so highly to you. And once you have that security, is like y'all two against the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing more secure than feeling like I have somebody that has my back to death. So, you can conquer and succeed in anything whenever something's coming your way because you have that person.
And side note to that is there is a book by Shanti Feldman called What Every Woman Needs to Know. And she did, you talk about neuroscience. She did a survey of men. Most men, one of their top fears is they feel like imposters. They feel like they're faking it. They feel like they don't have what it takes secretly, and they're trying to hide that from the world and show a confident face. So when you can build him up at home, like Jazmine was talking about, you're not giving him a big head. You're helping him compensate for that very real feeling that most men have, that are they enough? Maybe they're not enough. Maybe they're not enough for you. Maybe they're not enough to succeed. So you're not blowing him up. You are helping him stand strong in that, because it's most men's greatest fear that they will be found out to be not enough.
Exactly. And that is the thing that leads men to I don't know, reclude, basically step away and to just essentially tap out of the marriage. If he thinks that you don't respect him and that you don't lift him up and lift his spirits, he's going to be a walking shell of a person, and that gives women free reign to do whatever they want. And I'm telling you, that just leads to your misery as a woman and the demise of your family. Because I've seen this, my dad used to say, I've seen this movie play out many times, and it all ends the same way. It all ends the same way once that starts happening. If a man becomes a shell of himself and how you you're basically filling the piggy bank every day with gratitude, right? If you just said, knock it over the table and said, we're not doing this, he's going to notice. And men, that if you don't give him gratitude, if you don't give him words of affirmation, if you don't give him what he needs, Trust and believe he will find it somewhere else. Trust. Okay? I've seen this play out way too many times, and this is something that I want women to understand. You are doing yourself a disservice when you don't respect, when you don't have gratitude for your husband, because he will find it in other places. Just saying. Okay,
Be
go
his
ahead.
biggest cheerleader.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I have something to say to add to that too,
Okay.
right? Because what Jazmine was saying, they do have that quality, that ego, and a lot of people identify the ego as a negative thing, but
Mhm.
actually it's the protector and provider that we love. It's the quality of the protector and provider that we love about them. But we also have to understand that in every man, there is a protector and provider, but there's also that predator, right?
Mhm.
That's why, like we're attracted to the exciting part of our man that ravishes us and makes love to us, but we're also, like fearful of, the aspect of men that where that can be distorted. And like you were saying, Rebecca, they're going to find it in other places if they don't glean from it at home, in marriage, in that covenant. So I found that like so important to like distinguish that in every man, yes, there's that protector, there's that provider. He's going to spend his life wanting to prove that he can do all of those things, because that's the initiation from boy to man.
Mhm.
And when we don't appreciate that enough, when we don't recognize that, sometimes he gets to be in that, I gotta do this, I have to like be by myself, be the, take on that stoicism, that kind of like that grit. And sometimes we may feel, oh, you're not seeing me, you're not like
Mhm.
loving me, you're like whine. But we have to realize that that's also a part of what makes him great, what makes our husbands the protector and the provider. And if we don't appreciate that, if we don't pour into that unique cup of our husbands, then of course they're going to like look for it in other places. So I think it's an important reminder to women that all of these qualities exist in our men, but
Mhm.
where are we pouring into like the strongest qualities? And is that aspect of his cup full, which only we can do? Like, it's one of the my husband always says he doesn't expect me to give him anything like tangible,
Mhm.
but it's the only thing that we can give our husbands is that, that appreciation. That it's different when it's from us versus like his mom or our daughter or somebody else. It's irreplaceable. And
Mhm.
when we can when we can consider ourselves like responsible for that gift, oh my gosh, then it will just build naturally within us. We won't have to make an effort to be appreciative, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's it.
I
This
wanted
is
to add. Oh,
this is why we go for an
you had
hour
one
and a half.
question.
Go ahead.
Okay, literally one question. Well, because you hit on something. I was talking to one of my dear friends. She's like a mentor. She's, I think, going to be 70 soon, and her husband's an engineer. My husband's an engineer, and so I remember talking to her about something, and I think this is a time earlier on in the marriage, which I'm still kind of young, but it's like maybe like first couple of weeks, whatever. I was like wanted to complain about something, and I think we had gone forth, and I was like, why doesn't it see things this way? Like, why is he being super pessimistic about it? And I was like seeing it really positively, and so it made me upset. And I remember talking to her and her being like, look, I can't say this is for all men, but like at least for engineers or for certain men who are very logical or whatever, it's like their brain processes a certain way. And as you guys had kind of mentioned earlier, where it's like they tend to be more logical, more realist, and sometimes that can seem pessimistic, but it's just the way that they see things. And so she was encouraging me. It's like, look, there are times when it's like maybe you do have certain concerns, or maybe you just want to like giggle and have like just a happy, carefree time. Call your girlfriends. Like, don't expect that to be your husband. And I just remember her breaking that down to me and being like, gosh, that makes so much sense. Like, I shouldn't put the pressure on my husband to be who he's not created to be. And so we can maybe look at the two situations, and he's explaining it to me, and it sounds so depressing and dreary. the way I'm hearing it, but that's the way that he sees it. But that doesn't mean that I can't still, my perspective isn't valid, as you guys mentioned before. If I can set the stage for gratitude, if I can set the stage even for healthy optimism and faith-filled optimism, then maybe he can glean from it. But I think in the moment when I was wanting him to see the way that I was seeing it, it was getting frustrated. I was like, no, that's the wrong approach. I should just appreciate the fact that we do see things differently, but this can empower me now so much more, as you guys mentioned, to be grateful, to be optimistic, and then hopefully that'll rub off on him. And then call a girlfriend if I need that boost.
I love it.
Call a girlfriend.
I love it. Kayla Levels, she sent in a question. She said, "Hi, so how do I give this information of gratitude to someone who doesn't believe in a higher power? I'm not trying to be defensive or anything at all, just asking. I love y'all's content." Do you? Okay, go Carla, go Carla.
Me. Okay. We have lost an appreciation for something called natural law. Okay. It does not have to do with religion. It doesn't even have to do with God or the belief in a higher power. There are norms written on our hearts and things that our bodies and minds respond to that have been that way for generations and continue to be that way, even though we can manipulate our environment in a way that our ancestors could not. Gratitude is one of those things. There is a reason why ancient texts from every culture talk about being grateful, and that attitude of a grateful, open heart is an important attitude in life. These were people, who their life expectancy was like 32 years old. And if they saw the importance of living an attitude of gratitude, we should be able to do the same. Neuroscience confirms this. Martine, I love her. She takes cutting edge things that we found through science and neuroscience and behavioral science that support what people have been saying for millennia and have expressed in a religious way. An optimistic attitude of gratitude towards people and the situation in your life is a way that makes the person themselves have a better life, but also spreads to everyone around them. So you're going to want to have a community of people doing that to make themselves live better and have the community be better. Now, God is, of course, part of natural law. He wrote natural law on the universe, but some people need to start at that natural level. Everyone's at a different point in their journey. And natural law used to be a beautiful way where we could discuss things that make people happy and make society work better, and by extension, make marriages happier and make men and women happier with each other, and our families do better. So we can take neuroscience, we can take age one wisdom from cross-cultural places to really talk about how gratitude is foundational to a better individual human experience and a better society.
Absolutely. Martine. Okay, go Charde.
I was gonna say too, just to kind of piggyback of all the wisdom you just dropped. I think when it comes to modeling certain ideas, concepts, or principles, I think sometimes the best way to try to convince somebody is to live it, is to be it. As somebody, I'm a Christ follower. My faith is incredibly important to me, but I recognize right now in the society where, trying to beat somebody over the head with Bible scriptures or trying to say you got to believe in God, like that doesn't work. That turns people off. And so I always try to take the approach of, you know what, this is who God has revealed himself to me to be. And the best way I could try to, be a better person really, or to live this truth out is by my lifestyle, is by who I am. And so my hope would be, like, as people get to know me, as I grow and evolve, that would inspire somebody to try to learn more about supernatural things or learn more about God. But it's not about trying to beat them over the head or trying to convince them, because as you mentioned even before, Carl, that everybody's on their own journey. And I think everybody should have the right and the dignity to learn these things on their own terms in a way that's right to them. So I think the best way to convince somebody or to encourage somebody is to just be the truth, be it in that moment, live it out authentically. You're not going to be perfect, but go on that journey. And I think people will be inspired just in that willingness to grow and learn. So hope that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Martine, do you have anything that you want to share?
No, I think Carla summed it up pretty well. But I think to what Charde was saying, right? It's the testimony of how we're living our lives, like in human dignity towards ourselves and towards others. That's what's actually going to, like move people to look at, a purpose higher than themselves, aka God, or like a belief system like Christianity, or anything, because, like it's what's happening like with social media today. Like you can't tell anymore what people really believe. I mean, they can go out there, they can say, I believe this is the right thing to believe, what you believe is wrong, blah blah blah. But when you turn off the phone and when you go back to your life, right, can you, like, if somebody were to take like a backstage look behind what you were doing with your phone, like, would that be living in the truth of how nature is designed, right? I think we're all passionate about that, and why we're so like why some people, they can come across as like preachy because, oh, my way is the only way. But we got to look at ourselves. We have to look at how we're witnessing to our own families before, like, we go out there and try to convince people of our way is the right way, or even like this show, like we made this show to kind of like have these conversations about what life is really like to be a feminine wife. But I find that after I watch this show, I'm always like, what did I say? Did what I say reflect what I'm about to step back into when I turn the laptop off and I'm with my kids, which I will be because my daughter has an art lesson in 15 minutes. So like it's that. So it's congruence. And I had one of my priest friends said this before. He's like, even if you didn't believe in God, if you lived your life according to how nature is designed and you didn't violate anything, you're going to be a happy human being. You're going to have a happy marriage. You're going to have like a happy family, regardless of this is the Bible verse that says, like blah, blah, blah. He's like, and he made so much sense to me that I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to like always check in. Am I living according to how creation is designed? And then all the arguments just stop. It's just I have to be responsible for my kind of like embodiment of that truth. So
No,
yeah.
absolutely. And I think as well that people will see that in you, and they'll start asking you, well, what do you have that I don't have? Right? What are you doing that I'm not doing? Because how can you feel this way, right? How can you always have a smile on your face? That's something that people ask me all the time, like, how are you always smiling? I'm like, because I don't live in the same world that you live in. And it's just like, and it's just like, you don't live to the same, you know, affirmation and what the world says about you. And it makes a complete difference in your life. And when other people see that, you get two responses I usually find for myself. You get the person that doesn't like you too much because it really reminds them of that. Aw. It just reminds them of something that they don't have, or it sparks that inquisitive side of that person, and it's like, okay, how can I get that? Like, I want to know how I can be similar to her, right? And then when you start having these conversations with people and actually get down to it, you're like, well, it's because of God. And then everything else just kind of falls into place after that. You know what I mean? But I know Martine has to go. So and Charde as well. So I just want to ask the last question, because we talked about so much here. We could probably go for like another 4 hours, and it's 9:30 here or 9:25 here. But I just want to, if you guys can give at least, no, yes, that's the question. If you have any, let's just say one or two practical tips for how to practice gratitude in marriage, so that these women out here can actually get some. I know we talked about it the whole time, right? We talked about little practical things, but if you could sum it down to one or two things, what can you give these ladies? Martine, you go first, then Charde.
Sure. Okay. So I like to practice two things in the morning. So when I wake up, I immediately think of what do I get to be grateful for. So notice I said get to, because often we can wake up and say, oh, like it's going to be a busy day. It's going to be like there's so much going on. But when you get to be grateful for something, even if you know that that day is going to be challenging for you as a mom, as a homemaker, as a wife, or even if you're running a business, then you know that you're already in the position with God to say, you're going to give me the strength for this. You're going to give me the, like what I need to get through this. So I get to be grateful for my busy day. I get to be grateful for all the things that my husband has asked me to prepare. I get to be grateful for the children having a busy like homeschool day. Like that's the first thing that I do, because and when I learned how to do that, and I learned how to do that from my own mother, right? She said that's you fitting in to like marriage, because marriage is not about you. It's about the both of you and the kids. And then the second of all is what I shared earlier. Like if you want to embody cute, like gratitude, have like a little ticker or a notebook beside your husband's bedside table if he has one of those things. And then just write down like three things in there for just like a week, right? And then see like how it changes you. So it's not for him, it's actually for you, right? How it changes you to like take conscious notice of the things that you really appreciate about him. So those are my two practical takeaways. I hope that helps.
Absolutely, it does. And if you have to jump off, I totally understand. But before you do, tell everyone where they can find you and what you do, because you offer coaching. And if
All
y'all
right.
ladies
So,
need the coaching, call
right.
Martine.
So, yeah, thank you, Rebecca. So, yeah, I am a women's coach. I've been doing that for like 10 years, flexibly, all from home. So, you can find me at my website, martinedeluna.com. And I typically hang out on Instagram. And on Instagram, I'm at femininity and freedom. So, hope to see some of you there.
Awesome. And I will have all of her links down below in the description as well. So if you want to click on it and sign up for a consult, I suggest you do it. Okay. So if you have to
Thanks,
jump, Martine, you
Rebecca.
can do that.
Yeah, I gotta go. Bye,
No worries.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Charde,
ladies.
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, man, those are some great points. I would say, as far as practical, two things that I'm trying to incorporate more is one, again, starting the day with a gratitude list. I tend to start my day with like a devotional or some type of meditation. And in that, it's actively trying to find different things to be grateful for, including your husband. So it could be simple, something simple as, let me just start with one thing. Like, I'm grateful, his job, it could be something basic like that. Or I'm grateful that he is faithful, or I'm grateful that he's handsome, or I'm grateful. It could be something simple, but just trying to make that of a habit, as she mentioned earlier, to just kind of set your day right. And then another thing that I think really helps is praying for a person. It's really hard to hate somebody or be upset at somebody or detest the way they breathe or whatever if you are praying for them, because praying is like an act of selflessness. So that's something that I'm trying to incorporate more and more, is just praying for my husband and interceding for him. And whether I'm frustrated at him or I'm, seeing an issue, but just praying and having that act of selflessness. And in doing so, I think you can and you will start to get God's heart towards a person. And I think once you have God's heart towards a person, it's a lot more easy to be grateful for their good qualities. So those are two things for me that I'm trying to practice. So yeah.
I love it. And if you have to jump to, let everyone know where they can find you. And yeah.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing. I'm going to send this to a lot of my friends, just FYI.
Good.
So you can find me here on YouTube. I have a page over there also.
And it's growing.
It is. Thank you. Working on it. So yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff there. Obviously, wifey stuff, relationships, controversial stuff. If you want to just, want to have your nerves, a little bit, we do all that there. So you can find me on YouTube. That I just started. I'm also on Instagram every so often. And Twitter. So come and hang out.
And of course, all of her stuff will be linked down below for you guys to check out. Listen, if y'all don't go after this and go follow everyone's Instagram, sign up for people's consults, everything. I'm serious. It's so necessary. And it's so cool to have all of these women on this platform at one time. Like, this is a gold mine. Okay.
I would agree.
And if you haven't written down notes, come on now. Next time, bring your notepad.
Next time, for sure.
But it will also be available on the restream, so you'll be able to catch it. And Charde, if you have to jump, go ahead. Don't worry. If you want to stay, bye.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. We're down to 2. Dun, dun, dun. This is what happens when you do a late stream. All right. Who wants to go next? We have 2 of you, so
I'll go ahead.
Go, Jazmine.
A couple of practical things that I personally did, because I had an issue with being more gracious and showing my husband gratitude. And the first thing is stop comparing yourself. There's no relationship that will ever be the same. There's no husband that will ever be the same. We are all different fingerprints. You will not be the same as someone else. So it's just a waste of time, and it's going to just stress you out, and you're never going to be happy. So stop comparing yourself to other people. Just work on your unique marriage. And then another practical thing that I've done is I used to be shy about it for some reason, because I wanted to change. And I'm like, I want to be more feminine. I want to build him better. And I'm not. And I was shy about it. Like, I would try to say something, and then I would hold my tongue, or it would be awkward for some reason. So I explained to him that I'm sorry, I'm trying. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe it's from all these babies and all the hormones. I don't know. My brain just ain't right now. But what I would do is I have my, how you have notes in your phone. I will write things down, and then eventually, while he's at work or doing something in a way, I would send it to him. And that's why I love the journal idea. I think I'm going to do that, because I think that will keep me accountable to continue to do it. Because if I keep doing it on my phone, I probably, I haven't done it in about a month or so. So, but I have gotten better at verbally giving him gratitude now, due to me getting warmed up and feeling more comfortable just texting him and being cute through a message. And then it gives you that confidence to do it in his face. So those are my 2 tips. Like, just because I don't know why, but I was shy for some reason. I wasn't shy when I met him, but then after time, I don't, like I said, it gotta be all these babies. But yeah, definitely just write it down and be content with your life. Quit comparing yourself. But you can find me at youtube.com/Family Values TV. We discuss all things marriage and family. We are just pushing for the nuclear family, as we see our community is just it is going against the nuclear family through feminism, through so many things. And we talk about those issues. And just come join me. And thank you for having me on, Rebecca. This was a great show.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. I love your insights. I just love her spirit.
Thank you.
After this, I go into my I go take a shower and I'm so giddy and my heart feels like it's gonna come out of my chest every single time I leave the stream because I'm so filled with dopamine and everything. Carla, you go ahead, girl, because I
All
know
right.
you have
Two
gems to drop.
things. Yeah, two things. Your receiving gratitude will make you better able to give gratitude. We, as the feminine, are the ultimate receivers. And if we can't receive, we can't give out. I was one of those people when I got a compliment from my husband or anyone else. No, I don't look that good. No, this old thing. No, I didn't do that good. Stop it. You're going to repel a spirit of gratitude.
Mhm.
You need to say, thank you. I appreciate that. It's hard to do. It took me a long time to try to reframe that. So be receiving. Most husbands really try to throw out those things to their wives, and they only stop when they get repelled over and over and over. So accept that. Say, thank you, sweetheart. You know, awesome. I appreciate that. Accept that from other people in your life, and you will be better to get it out. Gratitude to others, especially your husband. Number 2, reconnect with how gratitude feels in your body. You're talking about that, Rebecca, right now, right? Like you feel physically different. I really do think gratitude energizes us. That millennial faux, I don't care about anything. Everything is stupid. Nothing excites me. Nothing makes me happy. I'm just going to live like this all the time. That is not a position that gratitude can live in. So be thankful and embody a spirit of gratitude in your body. And again, I think as women that does look a certain way. It can look like girly energy. It can look like that, like kind of giddy energy. It can also look like a deep contentment where you're just sitting around with your children and you just look at him and you go, thank you for all this. It's just, you just look and you go, oh my gosh, without you, there wouldn't be this kid and that kid, and there wouldn't be this house, and there wouldn't. And we just, sometimes we just stop and we just look at each other like, wow, we are grateful for that. And it just, that's a beautiful, soft energy of gratitude. But be willing to feel that energy of gratitude physically and express it physically to your children, right? You can do that with kids and they pick up on it. Do that with your husband. He'll pick up on it. So say thank you and express that gratitude. Feel it physically and let it flow through you physically, how you're experiencing it in the moment.
I love it. Carla, where can people find you?
Right now, I'm still just on Instagram. I'm at Don't Become Roommates 1989. We'll
Okay, she's
see
gonna
what we
be on
do.
YouTube soon.
YouTube. It's on the list. It's on the list for this year. Again, I just want everyone, like you said, Rebecca, people like, what makes you so happy all the time? Like I want people to be as happy as I am.
Mhm.
I want it. This is your birthright as a woman, and just the joy that you can experience every day if you open yourself up to it by giving it out. And that
Mhm.
flow that I talked about, that's how that works. That exchange of energy between people and their attitude is so important.
I love it.
I
I
think
mean,
security.
go
I
ahead.
think security boss called it a dance. I like looking at
Mhm.
it as a
Right.
dance.
And I'm
Awesome.
gonna and I mean, how can I I have no tips, okay? Because after all of that, you guys are crushing it. No, so I would say, well, there was one thing that I wanted to touch on before we end, and it kind of is practical too. So Charde spoke about how she would talk to her husband, and sometimes, she wouldn't get the response that she wanted. And so calling a girlfriend solve that issue, right? And I think in marriage, you hear that your husband's supposed to be your best friend, your rock, your like everything, your house, the foundation, the like literally everything that he's supposed to embody everything, right? And so people think that, oh, well, my husband is everything, my wife is everything. And when you build that expectation for someone else, like my counselor talked about, we bring our box into marriage, but we don't talk about the box of expectations with your actual spouse walking into marriage. You're just holding the box and expecting the person to figure it out, and then you feel resentment towards them. So it's really important to understand that your husband and your wife, they're human, okay? They're not going to embody everything. They're not going to be your best friend at all times. They're not going to be this at all times. They're not going to be your rock at all times. And that's okay, right? And you need to have this whole gratitude thing, it's like building a muscle, right? The more you do it, the more the muscle gets stronger. So instead of, saying, oh, this sucks, like this first year of marriage, we're supposed to have fun, like we went through this whole like, you know what I mean? We're supposed to be in the honeymoon phase and we're not doing that. Reel it back, take a step back, right? Say everything that you're grateful for in that marriage, and things will start changing. You have to exercise the muscle. If you don't, you will atrophy and your marriage will just fall apart. And like I said before, this I've seen this video, I've seen this movie play out too many times. Okay? And I know that if you don't practice gratitude, if you don't practice, giving words of encouragement in your marriage, in your relationship, things will fall apart very quickly. And it starts with you, right? You don't have to wait for the other person to do something for you in order for you to practice gratitude. It can start with you. And trust me, the more you do it, the more that person, your spouse, is going to be like, whoa, this is weird. Like, I like this. Let me do this for them. Right. And then, just like Carla said, it becomes this, competition of who can one up the other one in gratitude and appreciation. But I love this conversation. I'm so happy that we could have almost a 2-hour conversation. We probably could have gone more, seriously. But if you guys didn't like the video yet, what are you doing? Stop sleeping on the video, okay? Hit the like button, subscribe. I will have everyone's information listed in the description down below, the Instagram handles, the websites, the YouTube pages for all of you guys to check out, and literally just go down the list. Just go down the list. Just do it, okay? And we're going to get Carla on YouTube ASAP. She's starting wife school. I'm already branding it for her.
You're the yeah.
Wife University.
I'll follow you. I will follow you, Rebecca. You got a lot of wisdom there on that stuff. Let's keep it going.
Wife University. We have Carla already scheduled for it. So ladies, sign up. Just kidding. But seriously, guys, we appreciate you watching, spending your evening with us. Like, honestly, I hope you guys got something from this video. I'm walking away so much happier, so much like fuller. I'm gonna go like hug on my husband right now, have some belly button on belly button time. You feel me? And we'll catch you on the next stream. So the next stream will be on Charde's platform, and I will have that link down below as well. But thank you guys so much for being here. We love you, and we'll see you on the next Wife Life. Bye.